Lucky Lefty podcast. It's for the Culture Friday. So our original plan was to have former Notre Dame Hooper Demetrius Jackson on today. I told you I was going to have somebody on to give you buckets left. Demetrius Jackson, he has a camp coming up in South Bend, and we want to help him promote that.
That's right.
Unfortunately, he had a couple of meetings that popped up, so we're going to get him to join us early next week. Early next week. All right? Early next week, he's going to jump on with us, talk about Michael Shrewsbury, the basketball program, and if he remembers crossing Malik over back in the day.
Yeah,
exactly. I already heard one interesting story, so.
Yeah. Oh, look, I can tell you, Jaden Ivey crossed me up one time.
Oh, when he was a shorty?
When he was back in, was it high school, 8th grade, one of them years? I knew he was going to the league. I mean, he just had it, man. You know how some guys just have it. No matter what age they are, they just a tough bucket every time. He was one of those kids.
Yeah. So, Lucky Lefty podcast, man. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. It's for the Culture Friday, man. So if you have anything culturally that you want to talk about, put it in the chat. Chat is live each and every day. We'll get to it. I have a new R&B artist that I'm vibing with. So I'm going to talk about him a little bit later in the show.
Okay. Oh, it's a dude?
Yeah, it's a dude. Young dude, too. And, I like him because of his versatility, bro. He's totally different than Jacquees and that whole vibe. I like the young man. He's out of the ATL. We'll talk about him in a minute. And honestly, I'm kind of late, according to my daughter. My daughter's like, Dad, come on. He's been out. But I'm going to put a spotlight on the young man today. Notre Dame coach is back on the road today, back in Chicago. Al Washington up here putting in work. We'll talk about that. He's not the only coach in Chicago. Chancey Stuckey, Jared Parker, or Gerard, as Malik calls him. We'll talk about that from a recruiting standpoint. Isaiah Canyon, we didn't get a chance to look at his film yesterday. We'll give Left the opportunity to look at his film, the newest commit in the 24th class out of Warner Robins, Georgia, wide receiver. Home of Chancey Stuckey down there in Warner Robins, Georgia. So Coach Stuckey went home and and let me say this. I'll get to the Justice Scott because there's a lot of overreaction happening, man, concerning the University of Miami and Justice Scott. Me and Justice Scott were texting back and forth during the Golden State Sacramento game the other night.
That's right.
Right?
Because we got those connections.
And we're actually talking about the game. I'll just say this, man, but anybody people feel like they get a vibe from a conversation, that's fine, right? He loved Miami. He loved the weather. Dude, you're from Chicago. Anytime you go to Miami or LA, you love the weather. I mean, when he talked to me about his USC visit, I was like, yo, this dude is talking like he's about to commit USC. But I mean, that's what a visit is. You come off a visit, great weather. He was talking about the architecture of the buildings out at USC and how he loved it and the campus. And, look, he wanted to visit. He told me he enjoyed himself, but nothing's imminent. He's going to get to June. He's going to make his official visits, and he's going to make his decision. It's as simple as that.
It's as simple as that. And I think for a kid to be so close to Chicago, we should feel good that his commitment to us is something he takes serious, and it's also something that is good to see that he can still make decisions and visit other places but still have Notre Dame in his heart.
Yeah, so he definitely had a good time in Miami, and Miami's definitely throwing NIL and all of that stuff. So it is what it is. But that NIL collective in Miami, I think it ended up losing them about two or three recruits on signing day. So uh, I wouldn't put too much stock into the University of Miami NIL collective at this point. Don't forget Apple Podcast, Spotify, CFB Nation. You got shows like CFB All American, and then you have Rise and Draft with Ryan Roberts. YouTube, man, that thumbs up, smash it for us. Helps with the views. Subscribe, leave your comments. We respond to all. We give you the audio edible each and every day. It's the Lucky Lefty Podcast, home of the misguided passion. You already know.
We
We spin
spin
it
it.
different. Where you want to start, Left? We can go Logan Diggs, or you want to start NFL draft and talk about
A lot of good news out there. I don't mind where we start. I feel like we're gonna have to talk about it all, and it's a lot to talk
well,
about.
let's save recruiting and Logan Diggs and what some people deem as there's a lot of panic out there from Notre Dame fans with the four players that are pretty much going back to back to back, decide to jump into the transfer portal. We'll talk about that. Let's go ahead and talk about the NFL draft. I'll say this. I would have tipped my cap to the NFL and evaluators and coaches in the NFL
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I feel like they've come a
Every
long way.
year, every
They
year they astonish. They shock us every
they
year.
they have come a long way. Now you have to understand.
Hey, a long way from where?
Let me explain.
Yeah,
On yesterday, a young man that from the jump bet on himself
yeah.
when he came out as a senior after winning the Heisman as a junior. And NFL teams told him, "You're not a quarterback. We want to work you out as a wide receiver." And he bet on himself. And in betting on himself, he became an NFL league MVP. And once again, he bet on himself, feeling like he didn't need an agent to know his value. He did get the 200 million guaranteed, but he is the highest paid quarterback in NFL history, eclipsing Jalen Hurts' contract of last week, and he did it his way, betting on himself. And for him to get that contract on the same day that we watched three African American quarterbacks be drafted in the first four picks of the NFL draft, and they're all different types. They're not the same quarterback. None of them are the same. They all represent a different type of quarterback. We were just 5 years away from the league telling Lamar Jackson he wasn't good enough to play quarterback, bro. And so, as much vitriol as people gave the NFL, scouts, evaluators, and coaches for the way they mistreated that segment of quarterbacks historically, I think, it's time to recognize what they've done and say, kudos to you. Kudos to you for finding a way to coach the talent instead of trying to put the talent in a box of tradition. Just coach the talent. And I thought that was pretty dope. I thought it was dope that Lamar got his contract on the night of the draft. And yeah, that's what stood out to me. That's what stood out to me. And honestly, I have empathy. I have empathy for Will Levis. I do.
Why,
First of all, because I don't want nobody sitting there by themselves, bro.
man?
I
Hold on.
don't.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I don't.
Who told him he was going that high? See,
His
that's
his agents, his agents,
he listening to TV.
man. I don't know who he's listening to.
If he was real with himself, he wouldn't have showed up. That's what I don't blame him. And he was in there talking like how he was finna go this and that all high. Come on, your film was terrible.
Yeah, Jason Smith,
I don't care what
Mel,
Mel Kiper
Mel,
talking about.
Mel Kiper definitely
Yeah, that's what you get.
convinced him to go.
That's what you get. There's nothing on a metric
Oh,
scale or at a respect level where you felt like you should have been in conversation with Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. And even on Anthony Richardson level, because you don't have no traits like he does. The first round is about freak talent. I said that what a couple weeks ago about the draft.
you
It's
did.
about the freaks. It's about who looks the craziest and runs the fastest and looks the nicest. That's why Michael Mayer is not a first round pick. I told people that. I remember I told you when I saw the combine, and I'm like, man, that Dalton Kincaid, that brother looks smooth. That brother look like Brock Bauer out there. He just looked like the type of NFL type.
Relax now, relax.
He looked like the NFL type of because he's fluid. He looks like he can do a
It's a
lot.
difference. It's a difference doing it against USC and doing it in the SEC.
Listen,
Relax now.
Michael Mayer is a great football player, but he's not a freak of nature. He got average size measurables. It was the perfect comparison
I
when they
never
gave him,
recognized how short his arms were. Left.
yeah, they gave him he's an average, football player from there's nothing about him makes him special. And that's
Wait. He's not an average football player.
no, I'm sorry. Compared to the first round freaks, he's not a first round freak. Michael, they made the perfect comparison to Jason Witten.
They did. They did.
It's unathletic in a sense. He's not freaky fast. He's not freaky big like a Troy Nicholas.
Was that Jimmy John's? Isn't that Jimmy John's mantra, freaky fast?
Yeah, I mean, like what? There's nothing about Mike where I'm like, oh my god, that's a first. But he is a really good football player. The difference between Dalton Kincaid and Michael Mayer is the fact that Dalton Kincaid gave you the same amount of production that you noticed that flashed for you as Michael Mayer with the offense not being surrounded around Dalton Kincaid. If Michael Mayer wasn't surrounded and wasn't the offensive target of the season, would you really notice him any different from a Mitchell Evans? Would you?
I think
Football and made him
look, I think people forget. Let me remind you, this dude stepped on the field as a true freshman at Notre Dame and pretty much took over the tight end room. So
yeah, but I agree with that. But because he's a good football player. But there's nothing about Michael Mayer that you're like, man, his range is elite.
I disagree. I would say he's a great football player. He's not a great athlete. He's a good athlete.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
First round is about the great athlete and the freaks. Like the dude from Pitt got drafted, the D lineman. Mozzie Smith from Michigan got picked up by Dallas.
Hey,
because they said he was a freak. That's it. They didn't say it was because he was making the best plays on film. And it's not a slight to Michael Mayer. But he knows he's not a freak. That's why Brock Bowers, if he came out this year, would have went before him. Brock Bowers is low-key a freak. Because I don't know how he's able to get open like he does.
Dude, look. Michael Mayer, this is how crazy this might end up. Michael Mayer might go lower than Cole Kmet did in the draft.
100%. Cole Kmet kind of freaky looking.
But in my opinion, Cole Kmet's nowhere near the tight end that Michael Mayer is.
But Michael Mayer, in my opinion, what is he going to do in the league that's going to separate himself other than fit into the system well? He's a guy that's going to give you consistency. He's a guy that's going to give you the plays when you counting on him. But is Michael Mayer going to take over a team and beat a Travis Kelce to a team? Absolutely not.
No, he's not a Travis Kelce type.
We tried to make him a Travis Kelce of our team, and I mean the production was the production, but was it impactful to where it's like, man, it's like Eifert's production? I think Eifert had a bigger impact than what Michael Mayer did for the offense at the time. 2012 Tyler Eifert, I would take that over a 2022 Michael Mayer.
Mm.
Because Eifert was literally what Dalton Kincaid got drafted for. We put Eifert at the wide out. We put him inside. We had him doing everything. So, I mean, I do think that Michael Mayer is going to get drafted. Obviously, I think he's going to be in the league for a long time. But the first round is about freaks, and Michael Mayer is not a freak. He's a great football player.
And honestly, like I said, I think he is a great football player.
Yeah,
I think he's
I'm
a
not
good.
doubting that.
He's not a freak athlete,
He's not.
but he's not a freak
And
athlete.
the first round is not taking that because they like we can get Michael Mayer in round 2 or 3.
And
He's still gonna
he's
be there.
tight end is a position. Honestly, the tight end is a position that is not really drafted that high, unless
Unless
you.
I'm surprised Darnell Washington didn't get chose
So
higher.
we remember we used to say this. People used to get mad at us. Remember we said this last year. We said Brock Bowers is going to be viewed higher
Then Michael Mayer, absolutely.
by NFL scouts than Michael Mayer. People like, oh, Michael Mayer is much better. He's a better all around. The NFL is not about all around
NFL is
tight
not
ends
about all over.
anymore.
He's because Michael Mayer is gonna be for sure a consistent tight end in the league. But Michael Mayer is not selling tickets like a Brock Bauer would. You putting some production numbers on a Brock Bauer. Eifert, I would take Eifert as a better prospect than Michael Mayer because Eifert was bigger.
Yeah, Eifert just couldn't stay healthy.
He just couldn't stay healthy. Michael
He couldn't
Mayer,
stay healthy to save his life.
but Michael Mayer is built to stay healthy a long time because he's a stocky dude, and because he's quote unquote not as athletic as a first round tight end athlete. Michael Mayer has enough ability to stay durable. He's tough and he's versatile. He's like a jack of all trades? Is he special at one over the other? No. He's pretty much overall an all-around tight end that you can get in the third, fourth round for real. Like, to be honest, I think because of his accolades, it put him in the conversation of a first, second round tight end. But in real life football, you can get him the third, fourth round because he's going to be there. Because if you taking freaks, I'm taking Darnell Washington because he's just a freak.
Yeah.
He's 6'7", about 260, he can run, catch, and block, all that type of stuff.
Yeah, but even though he's a freak, he still might go second, third round.
And he might go second, third round. You know what I mean? I just really think that Dalton Kincaid looked really, really different in that combine. I told y'all about that. I'm like, that man looked like he just looked like he about to be first round. They like that style of tight end. And thinking about Utah's offense, even though he wasn't the offense, he made great plays in that fit. So he was a great fit for what they did. Nobody's going to go to the NFL and throw Michael Mayer 80 passes a season. Nobody's going to do that.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. And it's just a fit reason. Teams ain't looking for Michael Mayer to be the team.
Yeah.
That's just not the way the NFL works. We did that, but that's how we got him drafted. You know what I mean?
I think, and talking about the previous conversation to start the show, the NFL is evolving in how they view certain positions and certain players. 5 years ago, Michael Mayer is probably a top 15 pick.
Like Tony Gonzalez. Yeah.
Just 5 years ago. Just 5 years ago, he's probably like a top 15 pick. But you get Travis Kelce. You get, Dallas Goedert.
Dallas Goedert.
The guys that are detached, the guys that really threaten down the field. And that's one of the things that I said coming into last year. I wanted to see Michael Mayer stretch the middle of the field. That was the next step for me in his evolution. Can he threaten?
He's not athletic to just open run in the middle of the field and shaking dudes like the Dalton Kincaid.
Because that is the next evolution of how they view the tight end position now. They don't view the tight end position the same way.
Flat, or you need a little leak out, or you need an over route or something from in line and you getting off the line and all this, that's him. But if you're like, oh, we need to score 2 minutes, let's spread the field, put Michael Mayer in a stand-up position, bounce from the line of scrimmage and let him work in space. That's not what you putting him in there for.
Yeah.
It's like shit. It's 2 tight ends. We got, heavy set. We trying to play action and sneaking behind the linebackers or crack block and come off. You scheming Michael Mayer. With a guy like Travis Kelce, Dalton Kincaid, it's like, what's the pass game looking like? How they damn near a bigger receiver, which is where the league is trending, obviously, and then I think that's what I always said. Michael Mayer would look good in Dallas or the Packers. If it wasn't one of those two, I just think out of just attrition, he just wouldn't get lucky with getting in the first round. If it wasn't those two teams.
I don't know. People in the chat seem to think you said Michael Mayer is going to be trash in the NFL.
Jason Witten wasn't trash in the NFL. But we know Michael Mayer is not a freak talent. He's a really, really, really good football player. And really, really, really good football players get drafted in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round. The freaks where it's just like, man, that man, if he wanted to, one of those type of guys, if he wanted to, if he turned it on just one time, he's better than anything you could have did at your best. That's what the first round's about. Now, are they all successes? No. But they're hedging their bets on freak talent. That's why Nolan Smith got in there. He ain't played a game all year last year. Jamar Chase didn't play a whole season, got drafted 2nd pick. Because he's a freak talent. That's why the first round, that's why I'm not surprised about Will Levis. There was nothing special about Will Levis. He can't throw better than Anthony Richardson. He's not fast like Anthony Richardson. He turns the ball over like an average QB.
Yo, what is Shane Steichen? Is that the coach for the Colts?
Yeah.
So it was cool. I saw this little tidbit. Jim Irsay said Shane Steichen about 3 weeks ago walked in his office just to go to your point, because I do think Will Levis was on the board for the Colts.
And then, like, bros,
Shane Steichen walked into he walked into the owner's office. He didn't walk to the GM's office. He walked into the owner's office and told the owner, when talking about Anthony Richardson, this dude does things that nobody else can do.
And that's what the first round's about.
That's it. That's all he said to the owner.
That's it.
Like, yo, he does things that no one else can do.
So he
basically said, look, leave it up to me to figure it out. What I'm telling you, they can't do what he can do.
I'm not spending money. I'm not spending first round money on an average dude I can get later in the rounds. Will Levis is an average dude. I can damn near get him like where I got Ian last year in the 4th round. Because he's an average dude. He's not a program franchise changer. He's an average guy with an average arm and bad decision making like most average QBs.
Yeah.
CJ Stroud and Bryce Young are in a different stratosphere from what they played like, and then Will Levis is no different than Stetson Bennett. I would take Stetson Bennett because he won games.
Ooh, that's a left that.
But Stetson Bennett not showing up to the draft knowing that he got 2 championships and all types of accolades because he knows better. He's realistic. Stetson Bennett, like, look, I know I'm very well accomplished, but when it comes down to this, they choosing freaks and studs. I'm just the guy that is qualified. Will Levis paid attention to TV too damn much. Start reading his own blogs, but never looked at his own tape and was real with himself and was like, you know what? They hyping me, but shit, like, I know I ain't ready for that. And it's cool to be not ready for it. You embarrassing yourself with your fine girlfriend. Looking more mad than you when you should have been telling her, I came for the trip. I shouldn't have been expecting this.
Hey, look, Left, I said this. There's a reason the same organizations are always in position to pick really great players. It's a reason why Howie Roseman was in position to get Jalen Carter. It's a reason, right? Why? because the Lions take Jack Campbell and Jameer Gibbs in the first round. Dumb organizations do stuff like that so Jalen Carter can be available for the Eagles with the ninth pick. That's the NFL. You have 20 dumb organizations and the same 10 smart organizations, and the 20 make dumb decision after dumb decision after dumb decision. We're just telling you this is how they come to the conclusion of their dumb decisions. They look for athletic freaks. That's what they look for. Michael Mayer does not fit that. Therefore, he slipped. Now we're just talking about pure football players. Michael Mayer is one of the top 30 football players in the NFL draft.
And that's what secures him into a second, third, fourth round pick.
First of all, he's a second round pick. He's not going in the third round.
I'm just saying that's where good football players exist. But when you talk about giving somebody 20 million, 30 million,
yeah,
I'm looking for something I can't just find on tape and say that's good. Anthony Richardson makes sense if I'm just trying to create a splash. I sucked last year, but at least I know I got a quarterback that can mess around and do something that your quarterback can't, and I can work with that. Will Levis going to the Colts, he might as well have another 10 years of misery. It's like no different than drafting a guy from his school, Tim Couch. Except at least Tim Couch had accolades. This dude's trash. So I only watched the rest of the first round to see if he didn't go, and I'm glad he didn't. And it just made the integrity of the NFL draft more important, that they don't listen to these fake journalists that boast guys that they want to go off of an image, and the football stays intact, and it's about freak talent. Football film don't even really matter when it comes to the first round. First round is about, man, we did our due diligence and found the freakiest player ever, aka the Illinois pick. I thought he was a freak. Man, ESPN showed the right highlights. Them couple highlights I seen, I said, oh yeah, I would have picked him first too. What the heck? Man, what? Those highlights were so different than a Christian Gonzalez and all that. I said, oh yeah, that's why they picked him.
Yeah, he's a dog.
Because you're not going to make sense of picking him over Christian Gonzalez if you went by the media standard and all the basic standards. They said, man, look at these couple plays, and I can't get over that. Yeah. Forget everything else. Them couple plays right there meant more than anything the polished Christian Gonzalez could have did. I don't care about that smooth back pedal. I don't care about how you elevated, just none of that.
But I like the spot Gonzalez went to, though.
Oh, absolutely.
Him going out there to New England.
Oh no, New England. Oh, perfect.
He went to New England. That's perfect.
More.
Yeah.
But yes, like Witherspoon is the prime example of why I love that the NFL is still banking on recruiting the freakiest talent in the first round. Am I saying Anthony Richardson is going to be a beast? I don't know. I think it'll be hard for him, of course. But
if he could have, I'll just say this. What happened for Jalen Hurts when he left Alabama is that he got a year with Lincoln Riley.
Right.
I don't think the Florida staff was the best situation for Anthony Richardson. But if he could have gotten somebody like a Lincoln Riley for 1 year and then gone to the NFL, but
Anthony Richardson needs somebody that's going to want him to be successful
but he's not playing. Shane Steichen went to the owner like, hey, I know y'all might be leaning this way, but I can do some things with him.
That's why they picked him first, because you can close your eyes and be like, in a vacuum, he just got more talent. So I can mess around and put some good stuff around him, and his talent will flourish. Will is like, I know what I'm getting. That's not worth $30 million. He gonna be here, hanging around.
You know what I'm saying?
He's gonna be on the.
Anthony Richardson is like right now he looks like Sanaa Lathan at the basketball game, you know, holding on to Spalding, watching Omar Epps play.
Or how she looked like in Out of Time with Denzel. Woo!
No. Let me finish. Because right now, you remember when Shawnee Easton, which is played by D Wade's wife, Shawnee Easton was like, "Yo, can you give this letter to Omar Epps?" She's in there like with her legs, like she bowling, knock knee, jeans, hair looks terrible. You know what I'm saying? That's Anthony Richardson to a lot of people right now, right?
It'll be all right.
But that dude can end up. Remember when Sanaa showed up at the prom in that white dress, and that cat Omar Epps was like, "Yo, hey, Shane Steichen might be able to dress him up."
I think Anthony Richardson obviously has a lot of work to be done, but I'm just saying, based on a freak level, it's like some stuff you can't pass up. Like back in the day when who did the Browns select at corner because he ran like a 4.2. He was trash
Yeah,
at corner. Justin Gilbert or something like that. He was trash.
yeah.
Justin Ross was trash to an
Mm.
extent that went to the Bengals. But he ran a 4.2 at the combine. They like, damn, you gotta be first round. Like you gotta be. Shout out Ben Morrison. His draft stock just shot up after locking up Zay Flowers, and Zay Flowers going as the first receiver. So Ben Morrison they're gonna be playing his tape against Zay Flowers in the future. But like dang, like I'm not saying that Will Levis isn't draft worthy. I'm just saying Will Levis, in comparison to Bryce Young and CJ Stroud as a first rounder, has been disrespectful. This should have never been a conversation.
Uh-huh.
Glad that the NFL made it right by not falling into these weak ass narratives by these journalists by making it a comparison. Both of those guys deserve to be number 1 and 2, and Will
Look,
Levis deserves to be where he's at.
they basically the same thing they did for Will Levis is the same thing these journalists did for Mitch Trubisky.
And that's crazy because they had Deshaun and Patrick that they were.
The NFL said, nope, not this year. You're not gonna get us this year. God darn Ryan Pace.
But I think Anthony Richardson helped himself because of the combine. He put them freaky numbers up. They were like, man, we can't even pass up on this. I don't think that translates to success in the league. But man, when you got freaky measurables like that, you're gonna mess around and make plays just because you just gonna instinctually make them. And teams can bank on that. But when you get a guy like Zach Wilson, you can't bank on him if things go bad. He's just gonna make it right because he's better than everybody. He don't have that.
Something's wrong with that kid. Like, did you see the footage of them like throwing the ball, him and Aaron Rodgers, and this dude was like had a scowl on his face, like he was disgusted that Aaron Rodgers was there. Like,
it's no different than Will Levis. Will Levis was telling you he felt like he was going to be the number 1 pick.
Now that did something like that. They talked about that. Some people said he came across very arrogant in meetings with teams.
Yeah,
I don't know how much I buy into that because people can put stuff. Hey,
look at Josh Rosen, entitled. Look at Zach Wilson, entitled. What nobody talked about Zach Wilson until the media started talking about him during the draft period. He was just an average dude. And it happens every time. When average dudes get put in the spotlight and hyped up because of football's the great equalizer, it's cool. You can get the hype, but you have to meet your maker. Zach couldn't do it. So the NFL was like, listen, all right, y'all can do it if y'all want to. Y'all can listen to Mel Kipers if you want to, but you better do your research. And it's better to fail with a freak than fail with an average guy that plays good. Because the NFL is about freaks.
I thought you were
And
about to go a totally different direction right there. When you said it's better to fail with a freak, I'm like, oh, where's Left going with this? Where's my boy going on a Friday afternoon?
there's no trade value. Even okay, think about it, Zach. Think about the Jets and Zach Wilson. What's the trade value in Zach Wilson? He's not a freak. He ain't got no measurables that
No,
you
no,
can.
no. If Zach Wilson had common sense, Zach Wilson would say, no, I said common sense, Left. If he had common sense,
Common sense ain't common.
Zach Wilson would say, whether or not it's the Jets or somebody else, I'm taking these next 2 years to glean everything I can from Aaron Rodgers and become the best quarterback I can be.
Yeah, if he was smart,
If he was smart.
but he's entitled because Mel Kiper boosted him his pro day when he made that little runaround throw that he was gonna be Joe Namath Jr. But he's not being honest with himself. Like Will Levis is not being honest with himself. Look at your own film and be like, listen, I'm not ready. And I'm okay with a 4th, 5th round spot and working my way. Look at Stetson Bennett. We haven't heard nothing from him after his DUI because he accepted his fate. He said, listen, I'm just a backup. I'm Georgia's quarterback. Let me just get my money and retire back in Athens and I can live like a king. I'm not about to press and act like I'm about to be a King Boombata up in the NFL. No, I got my glory in college.
Yo, let me tell you how disrespectful Louis Riddick was last night. Louis Riddick was like, you got to answer some questions about the film from last year. You got to explain. You got to explain to me how you weren't able to beat out Sean Clifford at Penn State. I said, Louis, you so petty, bro.
Straight up.
I said, yeah, that's a dog.
That's
you
right.
couldn't beat out Sean Clifford, bro.
But you the number one.
That's like remember
and Bryce Young. Come on, this is like a joke. It's a joke.
who was it? Remember who was the brother that started for 2 years at North Carolina? I was like, man, Mr. Trubisky couldn't even beat him out.
Oh, Marquise Williams.
Marquise Williams. He couldn't even beat Marquise Williams out, but now this dude is the number 1 overall quarterback.
It's like you can't lie on the football field. That's the best part. You can't lie on the football field. Because at the end of the day, Will Levis got to go out there and throw some touchdowns. And me and you both know, no.
So we think, of course, Philly was a big-time winner. Detroit, big-time losers with their 2 first-round picks.
You think it was a losers?
Jahmyr Gibbs and Jack Campbell?
Jack Campbell, yeah, hell yeah. But Jack Campbell, that's the Iowa linebacker, right?
Yeah.
That mug is 6'4", 230 something.
Left. You could have had him. You could have had him later.
I know that, but he's a freak.
You could have had him in the second round,
and
bro.
You ain't finding no 6'4", 250. And you know he's so you know that. I mean, that's like 100 times too. Man,
Jahmyr Gibbs went
because you got to think they got Alex Anzalone that was supposed to be Notre Dame. He's supposed to be my class. They got him over there. This is a Anzalone times 2. Look at Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell's probably look at his chops. Oh, we gotta get that. We gotta get that brother from Iowa. He looks like me.
Right. He probably was looking at his chops like, ooh wee.
Man, I need that brother in Iowa. So, like, I thought that was good for Detroit. I thought that was a pick that made sense.
Nah. Shout out to Houston. Man, you go get it.
Go get the best one.
Go get it. Houston was like, you know what? We're going to get the top 2 dudes left after Bryce Young. That's it.
We're gonna set ourselves up for the safest, smartest picks. You can't.
That kind of Miko was like, man, I got dinner reservations in like an hour. I ain't got time to be here all night.
We ain't picking long.
No.
We know our 2 picks. We trade them and getting them.
That's it. So, what they did, masterful, man. They gave up a lot though. They did give up a first and a third, I believe.
I would bank on Will Anderson. I mean, all them damn accolades at Alabama, I would bank on that. And then you got a quarterback that can make it happen too. Shoot.
Yeah.
Not bad, man. Not bad.
You think is CJ day 1?
Yes.
Is they one?
If I'm D'Amico Ryan, yes. Because we crashing out together. I'm not about to start slow and go with Davis, but I don't know Davis.
Right.
Davis Mills?
Okay.
Man, give me my first round QB. We're going to figure it out together. He had 50 touchdowns.
Let me tell you something. Let me warn, because I know we have a lot of Chicago Bears fans in here usually. That Jonathan Addison pick to the Vikings. Woo!
Good
Putting him next to that stud they already have.
Good. Kirk Cousins, he good old fashioned Kirk, man. I like Kirk Cousins.
That's a sneaky pick. The New York Jets, I don't know what they were doing, bro. They got a pass rusher, but the defensive line was the problem. Shout out to the Steelers really stole their pick. That's what happened. The Steelers jumped in front. They took the tackle, ruined their plans for protecting Aaron Rodgers. Now they have to go back and hopefully get an offensive lineman. And today in the second round. Yo, can we talk about the Seahawks, bro?
Man, they smart.
They got your boy Devin Witherspoon that you already spoke highly of. And they came back and got Jackson Smith and Jigba, bro. To put with Lockett.
Hey, they said, Gino, you work so hard, bro. We believe in you. We're going to support you, bro.
Hey, man. Is there a better wide receiver core? I'm going to be straight up. Lockett, DK Metcalf.
Maybe.
Cincy, and that's it? Cincy, Miami.
Minnesota.
Well, they lost Thielen.
They got Addison. And they got some guy. You got Miami.
The Eagles.
Miami's
Cincy, Miami, Eagles.
Baltimore's. You got Odell and
Zaire.
Flowers. That's not bad. They might get DeAndre Hopkins too.
It's questionable whether or not it's a top 5 wide receiver core. It's questionable. It's debatable. Oh, what do you think about the Quentin Johnson going out there with Mike Williams and well, you don't like Herbert, so
I wasn't really high on Quentin Johnson, to be honest. Like them Big 12 receivers. What's the difference between him and Calvin Johnson? When's the last time a dude with long dreads was successful at receiver that was tall?
Man, what are you talking about right now? I know it's for the Culture Friday, but what are you talking about?
The last long dreaded receiver that was good was Joshua Cribbs.
No. D-Hop.
Okay. That's still what, 10, 12 years ago.
Let me think, because it has to be. No, Mike Williams. No, Mike Williams. Mike Williams has the braids.
Short dreads. He had like T. Higgins dreads. Quentin Johnson has dreads all the way down his back. Like nobody is Kenneth Fareed dreads. Anybody like that at receiver, I'm not trusting.
Dude, what are you talking about right now?
You see, you talked about Larry Fitz. Larry Fitz played in the league 20 years ago. The last good one was DeAndre Hopkins, and DeAndre Hopkins didn't go in the league with long dreads. So any long dread receiver that's tall is trash. I'm not a fan of Quentin Johnson. I don't think he's going to be good. It's a hot take, but it's a true take because you can't find me one in the last 5-10 years with long dreads that's been nice. You can't find one.
Well, Chicago Bears fans will feel your angst because they took Kevin White.
Exactly.
At the top.
Trash. Out of the where? The Big 12. Trash.
He was out of the Big 12. You're right.
Trash. Ain't been one with long dreads successful since. That's the truth.
You're about to get us canceled right now, bro.
The truth.
With the hair appropriation.
Unless San Diego was thinking that Quentin Johnson was going to be Mike Williams. That's the only reason why, because Mike Williams always getting hurt. Unless they thought it was that. Other than that, no long, dread, tall receiver from the Big 12 has ever been successful. That's the truth. So I knew from the maker that's going to be a bust. He didn't even go to the red carpet for the NFL first round because he didn't think he was getting picked.
You know what was funny?
He even knew.
I watched Miles Murphy and Brian Brzee go in the first round, and I kept saying, "Play that Notre Dame tape, though."
Straight up.
Play no.
I'm
Play
a fan
that.
of Brian Brzee, though. I'm a big fan of.
Especially after everything he's been through.
I'm a big fan of Brian Brzee, man. I know it. I've been in his house. You know, they showed him at his house with his family. I've been there.
Okay.
I was in his kitchen. I know exactly where he's at. So I'm a big fan. I can't lie.
That's cool. But I still say show that Notre Dame tape, though.
Yeah, straight up. They can't. They can't.
That's the tape was like, nah.
And technically, Notre Dame is the house of talent. All the big programs in the country coming to us for their talent and their needs and their services.
You talking about the transfer portal?
Yeah, Alabama came to us for a quarterback that we can't develop over here. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Alabama came to us for an OC, but we bottom 100 in the top scoring offense. Us?
Yo, I did not expect 2 Iowa players to go in the first round last night.
I did.
That was a shock. I'm like, wait a minute. Okay.
And you telling me that that Logan Diggs will go to LSU?
Oh, you know what? Let's go ahead and talk about it. Hey, we come back. That's the draft. Those are our thoughts first round. Michael Mayer will go early tonight. He'll go early tonight, the second round.
Maybe.
Somebody will take him. Michael Mayer is not going to the third round left. He's not.
It's about need, though.
Left.
It's about need.
He's not going in the third round. You want to bet a Wingstop? We can bet a Wingstop dinner right now.
I should have been one Wingstop off of Will Levis like yesterday. So
that's you. We can bet a Wingstop dinner right now.
Look up on Wingstop credit.
Wingstop dinner right now. That if Michael Mayer goes beyond the second round, I will order your Wingstop tonight.
Damn, the whole round?
You talking about third, fourth round? That's what you said.
I said that he wasn't a first round freak talent. His accolades is going to obviously put him. Okay, give me a mid round, end of round. You know.
I said he's going early in the second. I already said that.
Was that first 5 picks in the second round?
For early, it's like top 10.
So he's going top 10 in the second round.
That is my prediction.
For Wingstop.
See, now you getting slick. Now you getting slick. You're the same person. Everybody in the chat can concur with this. You were like second, third, fourth round. That's what you were saying.
Second, third, fourth round is where great into good football players exist. Absolutely. Absolutely. You can get you a really good football player from the second to the fourth round. That's where the good football players exist. But the freaks, that's first round only.
Dude, you said third or fourth. That's what you said earlier.
Good to great football players exist between the second and fourth round. Absolutely. Michael Mayer is a good football player. He's not a first round player, but he's a second, possibly third round.
You see that? That's it. Possibly third. I'm taking the second. You take the third. If he goes to the third, you get Wingstop. If he goes to the second, I get Wingstop.
I'm saying, honestly, I think he's getting the late second, possibly third.
So okay. What's late second?
Because of me.
What's late second?
You said what pick? So obviously it'll be 11 and on, right?
No, that's early. You got early, mid, and late. You said late. Said late. Late would be the bottom 10. Late would be the bottom 10, which would be picks
from 22 to the 3.
Picks 50 through 62.
which will be okay. Picks 50 through 60.
No. That would be 53 through 62. The bottom 10.
53 to 62. Okay, that's fair. I'll take that.
You would take that?
That's bottom of the second.
And I'll take top of the second. And there we go for wings.
Okay, there we go. That's fair. I think that Michael Mayer would fit great on the Packers, on Dallas, and they have late second round picks. You got to think it's about need. Michael Mayer may fall because of need. Obviously he's going to get picked second because he's been on TV hell a lot. Like Will Levis been on TV hell a lot. They just waiting. They can't wait for him to get picked up.
Hey,
so
man,
don't feel pressured to pick him up.
The Honey Hots, dog.
Louisiana rub with fried seasoning. Remember
the Honey Hots, dog. I'm just letting you know. Okay. I'll send you my address. You go ahead, send the DoorDash. We good.
I'll send my address.
Lefty podcast for the Culture Friday. Wrapping up NFL draft talk. Michael Mayer disappointing, not being taken in the first round. We come back. We'll get to recruiting and woo boy, a lot of transfers. It's right here. Audio Edibles, Lefty podcast.
If he goes, hold on, time out. If he goes mid, what'd you say, mid 10th round? I mean, mid second round. What team? That's the question. What team? Unless somebody trades in. What team was Michael Mayer going to go to in the second top?
Wait a minute. Trades happen all the time in the second round. What are you talking about?
You're depending on the trade because the teams, as they lay out right now, don't need
No. First of all, I'm not depending on nothing. I'm telling you what's going to happen.
Okay, so you depend on the trade.
I'm not dependent on the trade.
The team right now going in the second round.
I'm telling you now that he's going early in the second round. What else do you want me to tell you?
Okay, so what team?
Now I got to tell you the team?
Well, it's only so many teams in this top of the second round that he can go to. I'm saying those teams that are in the top of the second round don't need a tight end unless somebody trades in. That's all I'm saying. That's why I'm like, who is he going? Because I think he fits great in Cincinnati. I think he fits great with the Colts. I think he fits great with Green Bay. And I think he fits great with Dallas. Other than that, all them other teams got tight ends. That's all I'm saying. He could go to the Seahawks, possibly. The Seahawks is trying to, but Geno Smith. I mean, I wonder how they're gonna build around him. They already got him a top receiver. They working on some things. I think he's got between the Packers, the Colts, the Bengals, or Dallas. Those are the 4 teams I think he can go to. I don't know what happened to my man Shaun, but I hope he's ordering the Wingstop early, so when he does get picked at the bottom of the second, I can be eating the wings then. See what I'm saying? And I want the 6-piece Louisiana rub all flats with a side of fried seasoning. A side of fried seasoning. See, that's what you're missing. And then you get the ranch. So I think Shaun is ordering on DoorDash, and you know how you can schedule the time? He can schedule the time to around Arizona time to where we can make that happen. But I was just telling you my Wingstop order to the fans and the Lucky Lefty Nation out there that was wondering.
Man, you're not slick. You like to move the goalposts.
First,
well, he's going in the second round. Where at the second round? You got to tell me where at the second round. He's going at the top of the second round.
We're making a win.
Okay, but what team? You got to tell me.
Because I gave my 4 teams that I think you go to.
Left.
Those other teams don't need tight ends right now. We're going to go to San Francisco? Please.
Left. Come on, man.
For real.
Hey.
Talent exists between the second and 4th round. That's where good football players exist. Freaks exist in the first one. Michael Mayer can only go to 4 teams that I think, and that's Dallas, the Packers, Cincinnati, or the Colts. And if those teams aren't in the top of the second round, What's his chances unless a team trades in? He gonna go to where? He gonna go to Chicago, Philly?
He would come to Chicago and be the number one tight end immediately.
All right. Over Cole?
What?
Cole's a better prospect.
Cole Kmet is trash, bro.
Oh.
For several reasons. I won't even get into that. You please don't get me started. Man, let's talk about these transfers. So Logan Diggs.
I'm not a Michael Mayer hater, by the way.
You did a good job of coming across that way today. I'm just letting you know.
You did
a mighty fine job of coming across that way today. I'm just letting you know.
I'm a Michael Mayer realist. I think he's a great football player. Obviously, the greatest tight end through Notre Dame. But is he a freak for a first round? Y'all know that's not the case.
Hey man, look. Logan Diggs jumps into the portal based upon what we heard when we were in South Bend during Blue and Gold weekend. No surprise to us at all. By the way, your boy Lorenzo Styles Jr. visiting Ohio State today, as we speak. As a matter of fact,
that's okay.
Logan Diggs. I've heard a reunion with Tommy Reese at Alabama. I've heard LSU and Brian Kelly. I've also heard schools like Miami, and I've also heard him linked to possibly going to USC.
Wow. They ain't got no back though. So
this is interesting. Let's talk about the reason, because I haven't even told Left this. I was supposed to call you later last night, and we didn't get a chance to talk. Logan Diggs was upset that he wasn't the feature guy, and he feels like he deserves to be a feature back.
I mean, you're not going to get that in Notre Dame.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I disagree. Because historically, especially under Brian Kelly, Notre Dame has been a one run back heavy.
Yes, I agree with that.
So when he was recruited, he might have been recruited under the guise of we feature our backs.
That's if you get the job, but you're not no more special than what we got. Yeah, when we was in those positions, you're absolutely right. Brian Kelly was great at giving one dude the carries when we have multiple dudes that can do it, and he runs them into the ground.
Facts.
Every single time. Happened to CJ, happened to Josh, happened to Dex, happened to Theo, it didn't happen to Cam, but Cam got hurt. But it happens every time I was there. So, one, in a game like today, as a running back, I wouldn't want that. I mean, come on, like, I want that. Number two, those situations were due because it was like the hot streak. Oh, he's just hot right now. CJ's first 2 games was hot. I mean, he was breaking tackles, running for all these yards, doing this and that. So it became a thing where it's like, let's save talent. You know, the way Brian Kelly coached, he was coaching to win, not coaching to, show how great we were. So if we was up by a touchdown, he's holding that touchdown lead all game. We ain't about to blow these guys out. Wow, we winning.
Right.
When it came to talent, he was a talent conservationist.
What?
Brian Kelly was a talent conservationist, meaning if we had a running back room full of talent, he's going one at a time until we can make this last longer. He's the type of guy to put water in the Minute Maid when the juice is low, just to make it last longer. You like, this is watered down juice. Yeah, well, we still got juice. So what Coach Kelly would do is like, okay, we got CJ, Dex, and Josh. Now, Josh was a Heisman candidate. Dex had a really good season, over 1,000 yards. Tarian was really good. But we literally gave CJ the ball like we didn't have any other running backs.
Facts. That's true.
Even when he got hurt, we were still giving him the ball every play. And we had Josh sitting in the weights. We had Dex sitting in the weights and wouldn't put him in the game. When Josh's turn came up, we ran Josh till he had 2 knee braces on.
Didn't Josh score like on his first run as a freshman?
The man scored on his first touch ever and stopped touching the ball after that until CJ left and we can run Josh into the ground. Josh was 33 trucking with 2 knee braces on.
Got to the NFL, it was no good.
And got to it was trash because he ain't have a chance. CJ didn't really have a chance. He went into the league, 3rd round pick with a bum shoulder that lasted the entire time pretty much. So I'm like, Logan, if you were revisionist of history, why would you want that? And then on top of that, what are you doing better than Aldrich where we can't keep Aldrich in the game? It was nothing you were doing that was better than that. So if anything, you should just accept the fact you're on a good team where you get your carries and stay healthy and try to get to the league. You want to be a feature back. This ain't 2012 with Derrick Henry. This is about getting tape. If you want to go be a feature back, go to these smaller schools. But we got too much talent to have a feature
Who was
back.
the last? Bijan and the kid from Kansas State were pretty much the only 2 feet. Who was a feature back last year?
That's it. That mattered. That
Deuce, Bijan.
Ones that matter.
Oh, the kid from USC, he was that feature back before he got hurt.
For a game? I wouldn't even call
it. He was pretty much the dude.
He got hurt early.
He broke his leg. He got hurt late in the season. Oh. Yeah, he got hurt late in the season.
But that's about it. From a even Jahmyr Gibbs didn't carry it that much.
Travis Etienne was like a feature back.
Or back through attrition.
Your top teams, Georgia, Alabama,
they not going. They going running back by committee. All of them drafted and picked up. So it's like, Logan, what are you talking about? I think it was because that boy Jadarian Price is in there.
Well, Jadarian Price, low key, probably would have been the starting running back if he didn't get hurt last year.
Big Jadarian Price fan. And, at the end of the day, Notre Dame is one of those places where you're going to have a talent-loaded room. And at the end of the day, man, you just want to get some reps.
Yeah.
And Notre Dame is a place where you have to take reps and make the most out of them. So if you're the volume ball carrier, or you're a volume guy, you're not going to survive in Notre Dame just because that's just not how we recruit.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. So these people leaving is necessary because they're volume players. Tyler Buckner's a volume player. If you want to win with Tyler Buckner, the ball got to be in his hand most of the time. And that's not how we win as a team at Notre Dame. Logan Diggs want the ball most of the time. Not going to happen. Tyree's a volume carrier. But instead of putting him at the running back, put him at receiver. That way he can at least do both. So volume carriers don't last long in Notre Dame. That's just not how we recruit.
I love the depth at the running back position. I'm more concerned about the depth at the wide receiver position. Because running back is a position you're basically just giving somebody the ball and they're doing what they've been doing their whole life.
Right.
There is no nuance. There is no elevated route running. You just here's the ball, do what you've been doing your entire life. So you can depend upon youngsters and inexperienced players. Aldrich Estime will be your most experienced player. Jabron Payne is behind him. Jadarian Price, inexperienced, is behind him. Jeremiah Love, true freshman, is behind him. That's a lot. That's a lot of weight being put on young players and true freshmen at the position. But at the running back position, you could probably get away with it. You might have to worry about
picked over all. Logan Diggs knew his fate. When Jabron
at that point, without getting into it, Left, that's not fair because at that point, Logan Diggs had already checked out. He just hadn't made it official. So what I'm telling you is Logan Diggs was never going to be part of the draft.
I mean, but it goes back to that being a decision before the draft happened. If
Right,
they
right.
if they seeing Logan, I mean, if they seeing Jabron Payne doing well and they showing him mad love, and you way older than him, it's like, come on now. I think it's just better that uh, when you think about Logan's fit within the running back room, it was getting shaky back to last year when he had frustrations and not getting time. But you had him, Chris Tyree, Aldrick, and then Jadarian coming in. It was just a lot. And then he couldn't stay healthy. So you know how that goes. You can't stay healthy. The coaches just look at you different.
Yeah, he's one of those dudes that think he's cold. He thinks he's colder than what he is,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
doesn't understand that, like, yo, you're probably saving a
You're-
hundred, 100 to 150 rushes a year off your legs and
yeah,
your body.
and be good in spots. You don't got to be good every down because that, first of all, that doesn't survive for when you're trying to get paid in the league. And two, you're trying to make it to the league healthy. You're not gonna make it to the league
Uh,
healthy being the main ball carrier.
Well,
So it's just a matter of ego in this situation, in my opinion.
so him on top of Lorenzo, on top of Tyler, on top of Prince Collie. Um,
I blame not having a plan for these guys and in a class where it got caught up in a transition period between Marcus Freeman and everything that was included. Brian Kelly didn't leave them with a plan, so they got left out of the plan when Marcus Freeman came in, and they felt the pressure because there's nothing you can really do when you're not included on a plan that is moving forward without you. So, uh, guys like Prince Colley that are struggling to even get on the field, it's not going to get better with a new coach. It's just not. And so it didn't that first year, and the second year it don't get no better. So for a guy like Logan Diggs, it's a matter of transition uh, and not being not available or ready for the team. You just don't have a fit to what we're trying to do.
Now, for me, my concern is, look, I've said it before. There is no, you can't point to anybody in that wide receiver room and say, "Oh, that's 70 catches right there." You,
Yeah.
who are you pointing at in that wide receiver room and just be like, "Oh yeah, that's guaranteed 70."
Uh,
Who are
yeah.
you pointing to and saying that's our freaking Charlie Jones?
Not.
And as much as we like the depth, it's young and experienced depth. It's unproven depth. That worries me. I'm cool with running back.
Running back.
Wide,
Running back needed to change though.
wide receiver, uh,
Well, I feel more confident in the wide receiver because we're confident in Sam Hartman and what we're trying to entrust him to do. Obviously, losing Tyler Buckner is going to be a bigger input on what Sam can do and what we're trying to get him to be able to stay consistent with. So the passing game is going to have to be a strength if Sam's going to be effective this season being on the team. If that's not effective, then there's no point of Tyler to ever leave. So if I'm the offensive staff and Jared Parker, I'm like, well, shit, these receivers better start acting right because it's our game. We lost our what made us complete as a team, being a team that could be a run heavy or a team that could be pass heavy. Because
yeah.
Tyler Buckner and his skill made us run heavy if we needed to be. If we need to bunker down, be run heavy, play action, we got Tyler Buckner. If we want to open it up and be dangerous and score a lot of points, we got Sam Hartman. Losing Tyler Buckner, I'm putting an emphasis on being 65-35 pass. I'm not counting on Sam Hartman to give me no read option in the middle of the field. Why would I put him at risk to put Angeli in the game next? Absolutely not.
Man, y'all got a lot of faith in Jaden Greathouse off of one spring practice, man. 70 catches as a freshman. All right. This wide receiver room does not have a Will Fuller. I don't even know if it has a Golden Tate. Does it have a Michael Floyd? As much Jaden Thomas, Jaden Greathouse. You know, I love Jaden Thomas. Love Jaden Thomas. Jay Greathouse isn't taking the top off the defense.
No.
It's not.
Our speed is the guy that went to Colorado with Dion. And what went to Michigan with Brandon Hillman. That's where our speed went. We got a
But
bunch of
he was playing defense anyway, so Brandon Hill was playing defense anyway, so
I mean, we got good football players, guys that are not. We got another JT in the Jaden Greathouse, just a stocky, big 6'2" receiver that's semi decently all right and looks the part. But we have no barn burners.
and that is my only question about the depth at wide receiver. Like Jeremiah Love's a home run hitter. Jadarian Price, home run hitter. Like you got big time playmakers at running back. At a position, like I said, you just hand the ball off. They're gonna have to learn how to protect. That's gonna be key. But Jabron Payne has been one of the best players all spring.
All spring.
So running back position should be pretty solid. But that wide receiver position for me left, it's it's somewhat concerning. I'm gonna be honest. Lucky Lefty Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, CNB Nation. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure the thumbs up, hit that for us. Leave your comments and questions. We respond to all. So Lucky Lefty Podcast, we give you the audio edible each and every day. We spin it different. Left Cam Williams and brand new wide receiver commit Isaiah Canyon out of Warner Robins, Georgia. I believe will give Notre Dame two over the top receivers next year in the 24 class.
I do like Cam Williams.
Yeah, Cam Williams is that dude. He's that dude. And Isaiah Canyon, Warner Robins, like I said, you just watch him here. Look at the speed left.
Yeah. He looked
Yeah.
fast. Yeah.
Yeah, just him and Cam Williams on the outside, bro.
Now, he was playing some quarterback too, right? Like he played a little bit of everything, right?
Yeah, athlete, quarterback,
He's
DB.
definitely a sudden athlete. He's just sudden as heck. Like he's suddenly quick. You know, he moves with a pace, and then he can elevate and get another gear speed. Those type of athletes you like because you don't quite know how fast they can be, but their speed is sudden enough to where it can catch you off guard. You think you're keeping up with him, and he kicks it up because he really want to run. You're like, oh, hey, he kind of fast for real. And I mean, he's playing quarterback, he's playing receiver, he's playing DB. He truly is a football player. I think he's a great replacement of a recruit when you're talking about guys like Brandon Hillman that can do so much. I mean, this is no different. I mean, even the man looking decent playing quarterback. So, guys like this, I always feel like can be helpful for a team if we have a plan. If you don't know what he's going to do for us and you're just having him because he's a special athlete, I think it's just no different than what Rico Flores is. It's like, what are we going to do? Are we going to put him in the backfield, put him in a position to play special teams, or are we going to put him at outside receiver or something? So a guy like this, you love to see added on the team that's so athletic. And it's a reason why we have draftable guys and guys that can go anywhere in the country if they want to leave. But how can they impact a team and make us dangerous like you see Alabama every year?
Yeah, I love him. Big time athlete, great speed, great quickness. I think the 24 wide receiving class, in my opinion, is going to be better than the 23 class left,
Yeah, I agree.
based upon freak talent.
Yeah.
What you just talked about, freak talent. They're just freakish. Big time. Rico's a big time receiver. Jade's a big time receiver, but they're not freakishly athletic.
They're not. They're good football players.
Yes, Cam Williams is now a 5-star. Isaiah Canyon is a 4-star. And they're just two freakishly athletic wide receivers. And that's pretty much it. So you talk about changing the narrative at the wide receiver position. That's what you get with Isaiah Canyon joining the 24 class. I believe Bryce Young's commitment is Saturday at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. He is the son of former Notre Dame defensive lineman Bryant Young, NFL Hall of Famer. So he'll make his decision this Saturday. Hopefully, Notre Dame will be adding another individual to the 24 class. And then, like we said, Notre Dame and their coaches are back on the road today, visiting several prospects. I know Chancey Stuckey, Jared Parker, and Al Washington are all in Chicago. You have coaches all over the place visiting players in the 24 and 25 classes. So this is the big push to May and June, where I think a lot of commitments are going to start coming in for Notre Dame.
Yeah, this is the time where Marcus Freeman is where he is best, man, and that's recruiting the right guys and staying on schedule. We're ahead of schedule. We're already having our franchise quarterback going into the 2024 class. So, it's nothing but retention at this point, which Marcus Freeman, I think, has made a point and being sure that he's on top of it because that's what's going to get us through the finish line is having a retention of the recruits, not just the attention through the beginning part.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'm willing to take all bets. If anybody wants to lay down a bet for 70 receptions by a receiver on Notre Dame's roster,
Yeah,
I'm taking all bets.
yeah, I would too.
I don't even understand this question. Shaun, you've been saying that Justin Scott is different. Different how? I don't understand your question. Yet now he's leaning towards Miami, according to who?
That's a question. That's a great question right there. According to who?
According to who? He's leaning towards Miami. The dude has visits to Georgia and Ohio State coming up in June. You really think he's leaning towards Miami? Sometimes be sensible. Be sensible. Let's be sensible sometimes. He has official visits coming up to Georgia and Ohio State, but he's leaning towards Miami. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. Like we gotta relax, man. Relax. Somebody crystal balls to somebody all of a sudden. Oh, he's leaning. You have talked to the dude. That's basically somebody asking somebody about a trip that wasn't even an official. It was an unofficial trip, taking a conversation about an unofficial trip and crystal balling. But yet still, Tom Lloyd didn't change his crystal ball. The other individual from the same publication didn't change their crystal ball. It's opinions. So how is he leaning to Miami? It's not. It's based on a conversation about how a visit went. That's all it is. So I've been saying he's different. What has he shown? If he chooses to go to Miami, what does that have to do with him being different? People think Notre Dame is the only choice to prove that you're not all about the money. Like if you choose Notre Dame, then you're not about the money. You go anywhere else, that's all you're thinking about. Heaven forbid that somebody could look at a coach that consistently puts in D lineman to the NFL, like Larry Johnson up at Ohio State. How dare a young man say, you know what, I want to go play for a dude like that?
That's right.
How dare a young man say, I want to go play for Mike Elston at Michigan? How dare a man say, I want to play for Kirby Smart at Georgia? I just watched two dudes go in the first round last night off that defensive line.
Yeah.
But if they choose any other school besides Notre Dame, come on, man. That's it. That's why I didn't understand the line of questioning. Like, he is different. He's different because I talk to him. And I know what other people talk about.
You ain't lying.
That's all I'm saying. And once again, he's leaning to Miami according to who? Because there's 4 different crystal balls out there. According to who? And based upon what? It'd be different if he took an official to Miami in June. And then people are like, oh man, he's leaning to Miami. We got a full month before this dude starts taking officials. And we sitting here sweating somebody talking about crystal balls. That's why I don't do that. Because the same conversation that I'm sure he had with somebody else about his Miami visit, it's the same conversation he had with me. It was a great visit. What's not to love? Weather, great facilities, and a bunch of bikinis. He's from Chicago. I'm sure he loved it. Every minute of it. This was like, yo, I didn't have a problem with the question. It's like the inference. It's like the inference that if he chooses another school, then he ain't different. Or he is a bad kid. Or he's all about the money. He just can't like a certain coaching staff. He can't like another defensive line coach better than Al Washington. That for me, that's what ticks me off. Just because he doesn't pick your school, don't take that he's all about the NIL route. Don't do that crap.
I mean, that could be true though, because we don't do it at all. That's the difference.
That's on us then.
Right, but I'm saying that's a reason why somebody would point to it, like, because why? Because if it wasn't for NIL, what would make another school more attractive than Notre Dame?
Dude, you act like, hold on. See, that's the problem. That's the problem. That's a piece of air. That's a little bit of arrogance coming out. Like Notre Dame is the only attractive college football program.
Only attractive.
That's my point. That's my point. It's a bunch of attractive football programs in this country, especially if we're talking about.
If we're relating it to NIL, though, if it was like, oh,
no, we don't even have to talk about NIL. Forget NIL. We're just talking about flat out attractive college football programs.
Okay, you're right. Okay.
It's a list of about 10 to 15.
It ain't many.
It's a list of 10 to 15. That's all I said.
I'd say it's less than 10.
Once again, the same look.
Because 15
Literally,
is a stretch now.
he was in LA the weekend USC stumped Notre Dame. He was there. He watched it.
Oh, at SC.
At SC. And he raved about the visit. Raved about it. Was like, yo, the architecture of their campus is beautiful. I love architecture. Like, this is the type of dude, this is who he is. So he's going to find what he loves about the visits he goes on. And somebody took a conversation about an unofficial visit to Miami and crystal balled him to Miami, which to me personally is laughable.
But okay, but if I agree that it's laughable, then I can't be the same bias of saying that it's a better option. It's laughable. You're absolutely right. To take Miami right now for Notre Dame is laughable. That don't make me biased. It's the truth. Right?
Yeah, but if he decided to go to Miami, that doesn't make him a kid that's all about NIL either.
Right, but it makes it laughable. Because it's like, why would
you can still laugh at it.
Yeah, I was just saying it's definitely laughable.
You can still laugh at it. You can still laugh at it.
Because we're talking about good decisions.
But this goes back to my point, where Notre Dame fans feel like, as some Notre Dame fans, and I'm not saying this, you gotta sometimes there are other people out there that are just better than you.
Yes. Yes.
Or just offer something that the other person is looking for. And stop running the NIL every time they choose to go somewhere else. Ryan Wingo put out his top 4. Notre Dame is not in it. It's not. Could it be that the 4 schools that he wants have a better history of developing wide receivers? Heaven forbid that a kid looks at that. Heaven forbid that Missouri's in his top 4 over Notre Dame, but people are like, oh my God, how can he ever go to Missouri? He's from St. Louis. He's a Missouri kid. Maybe he wants to stay home. That's his close to home school.
Rodney Gallagher did it.
Absolutely. And that was laughable that he went to West Virginia over Notre Dame. Laughable. But it was something that he wanted to do in connection with his girlfriend, his family, all of that.
But we can agree, in general, it's laughable.
Absolutely.
Okay. That's all I can agree with you on.
But all I'm saying is, when people don't choose Notre Dame, stop running the NIL immediately. That's the problem I had with the question.
There's a couple obvious points that you can run to. Is either NIL, you couldn't get in, which is a true thing. You got to have a certain level of accepting through the process of getting in. Not everybody can do that. Or what's the other narrative? There's only a few narratives that you go with when you don't decide Notre Dame. It ain't like it's a list of things.
Right.
There's just a couple things that I can't lie, it probably had a factor. NIL is probably one of them. Playing time is probably one of them. And getting in. And getting in. No, seriously, getting in, playing time, or NIL. And that's other than that, I would think that they didn't choose Notre Dame on a laughable basis. Because it's not like we offering everybody. We ain't we ain't offering Caleb. And clearly we are willing to make that mistake twice.
Facts.
So that's what makes it feel laughable. That's all I'm saying.
And that's why I'm not in my feelings. Let me explain something. This is my background. Left, you know me, I work with children.
That's right.
The worst thing that I've become a part of in dealing with kids and recruiting is adults and how they look at children.
Yes.
Especially around this NIL thing. Almost like it's an albatross around their neck. How dare they choose NIL as part of one of the top things they make a decision. How dare you choose NIL over Notre Dame in 40 years? How dare you? What do you mean? It's their life. And the amount of arrogance that exists, I can say this because I'm part of the fan base. The amount of arrogance that exists in the fan base to think there's no one else out there pretty or as pretty as Notre Dame is one of the biggest problems. It's one of the biggest problems. And I can say it because I'm part of it. So when somebody tries to infer just because Justin Scott is leading to another school, I thought you said he was different. He knew exactly what he was saying. Like, what do you mean? What are you trying to say? I thought he was different. So you don't come at me. I just don't like adults trying to be slick with the way they talk about kids. I'm never going for that, ever. If I didn't do this show, I still wouldn't be rocking for that and the other things I do. So if that's me being in my emotions, then fine. I'm staying doing that for the rest of my life when it comes to protecting kids, being able to make their own darn decisions.
Yeah, you definitely have the choice to make your own decisions. I think that's what makes.
That's because he's connected to Miami from a story. Somebody crystal balls him. I thought you said he was different. That person knew exactly what they were trying to say. They knew exactly what they were trying to say. They were trying to come at the young man's character. And I'm not going for it. It ain't about me being in my feelings.
Okay.
That's not happening on my watch about any kid.
Okay. In fairness, though, what do you describe Peyton Bowen as then?
A liar. He's a liar. We know this. We established that. Peyton Bowen is a liar, dude. He's a liar. He's a liar. What are we talking about? Everybody knows Peyton Bowen is a liar.
So if a fan says, "Oh, I thought Justin Scott was different because we made it seem like he's gonna commit," and if he does,
no, that's not what he said.
Okay,
that's not what he said. That's not what he said. What he did was he's connected. No. You got to connect the dots, man. I know what people are trying to say. He used the University of Miami. First of all, he used the University of Miami and his lack of respect for the University of Miami in connection with NIL and what they've been doing lately, and said, "I thought you said Justin Scott was different." I knew exactly what he was trying to say.
Okay, you read.
I knew exactly what he was trying to say.
Okay,
which is why I said, "Yo, I don't understand the question. Like, what are you trying to say?" I knew what he was trying to say. I just wanted to see if he would stand up and flat out say it, and he didn't. So I put it out there. Like, we're not gonna do that with these kids, bro.
I mean, I've gotten older, man. I think in this process,
wait a minute,
there's a lot of rich people that aren't smart.
I'll give this tidbit. Let me give this tidbit. If Justin Scott, if and when Justin Scott chooses Notre Dame, NIL will be involved because they've had discussions. So stop sitting up here like, "Oh, Notre Dame is all about education and we're all about the student athlete." You're in the NIL game too. That's why you just hired somebody to be over the NIL collective.
That's true.
So stop playing.
I agree with that.
I'm not about to try and lessen the character of a kid because he having conversations with school that are heavy NIL. We're not doing that.
I mean, it's okay if it is. I mean, listen.
We're not doing that. Ohio State is heavy NIL. Georgia is heavy NIL.
Well, most of the top teams are. Texas is a heavy NIL.
And everybody in this chat wants Notre Dame to be heavy NIL. They can sit up there and act like they don't. But they do. So I'm not in my feelings. I'm protecting these kids, yo. Left, you know, dude. We talk all the time. I tell you all the time, I just want these kids to be able to make their own decisions. The only problem I have, and I've had this discussion with Justice Scott. I went to see him the day after he made the decision not to make an announcement on the 31st. The young man looked me dead in my face. He didn't have to. He looked me dead in my face and said, "Man, I was going to choose Notre Dame. But everything was happening so fast, and I realized, like, man, maybe I don't really have the time to make the right decision now in the middle of basketball season." So I talked it over with my family, and I decided to wait. And I called Notre Dame and I told him. He didn't ghost Notre Dame. He talked over some with his family. Notre Dame knew before he posted it on Twitter. They knew what he was doing. So this is a kid that operates in high character, actually cares about the way things. He actually said he saw the way certain things went down with Notre Dame in the 23 class, and he doesn't want to do that. He said that.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. That's why.
So if a kid is actually looking at how Notre Dame got spurned and got played in certain instances and says, "Yo, I don't want to."
Yeah, he don't want that. You know why? Because what happened when Peyton Bowen tried to come back? We ain't playing them games. We do not negotiate with terrorists. And I'm glad Marcus Freeman stood on that because he said, "Listen,
no, it wasn't Marcus Freeman. It was one Marcus Freeman.
It was the team, but also Marcus Freeman inspired because we wasn't like that before.
At all.
If he was coming, what we do to Gunner Kill? Gunner Kill decided and threw that hat. He did the whole thing. He had the hat and threw it and put that Indy hat on. Yeah, like, and we accepted that. And we accept now. It's like, man, you.
And I said this on Irish Breakdown on the recruiting show. Like, for a kid to even think like that doesn't happen, bro.
But it also stems from us not playing those games either. It's a decide or not. We ain't going back and forth with kids. He saw what happened to Peyton Bowen. Peyton Bowen probably heard that Peyton Bowen tried to get back in, and them boys at Notre Dame was like, "Listen, your time is done."
It's like, man, look,
I'm not gonna go through that. I'm gonna either be committed or I'm gonna tell them, "Listen, I'm committed. I just want to go see what the don't make no rash decisions on me now." They just had some shoes down there. I just wanted to see if I can just collect real quick. I'm gonna be committed.
Thanks. Wherever he goes next on his visit, I think he has another visit coming up. Wherever he goes, man, when he leaves Ohio State, he's going to be Ohio State league. Then when he goes to Georgia, he's going to leave Georgia. There's going to be stories about him being a Georgia league. That's why Notre Dame is waiting to get the last visit. Official. It is what it is, man. Please don't compare Peyton Bowen to anybody else in the history of Notre Dame recruiting. That dude is like the biggest man. That's all. Let these kids make their decisions without you passing judgment on the decision. Heaven forbid a kid decides to transfer from Notre Dame. Heaven forbid. I don't agree with Logan Diggs' decision.
I do. He got his degree. Shit.
But hey,
Notre Dame is no different than what these coaches get a stepping stone for. These coaches go from Notre Dame and get a head coach job. These players go from Notre Dame, get an open recruitment to anywhere they want to go.
Facts.
Logan got his degree just like Tyler got his degree. They probably graduated the same time. And was like, shit, we go anywhere we want.
We go anywhere we want. And we still
get for a couple years.
Man.
And we still got the graduation degree. That's the best situation for anybody in college.
Anybody, bro.
I said the same thing. I said, wait a minute. I graduated in 3 years, got a year left, and I can go literally anywhere I wanted to go to.
Yeah.
That's a dream for a college football player. Forget transfer portal. The hottest transfer. You look at Drew Pine. Drew Pine made ESPN.
He led ESPN, bro.
Led ESPN to be a backup at a bum Pac-12 school. Arizona State may finish last in the division.
Yo,
Pine won't see no action the whole season. And he was leading ESPN as the hottest transfer at the time. Could have went anywhere he wanted. So if you want to transfer, go to Notre Dame. Hell, you get anywhere you want in the country. Tyler went to Alabama. Golly. Tom went to Alabama. I mean, come on. Like, this is the greatest stepping stone on the planet for players, coaches. Brian Kelly got $100 million leaving Notre Dame. I mean, what? I don't know if we have more success with guys leaving Notre Dame than playing at Notre Dame. I mean, my goodness. Ian Book left Notre Dame as the winningest quarterback of all time. Got picked up to a great team and damn near won the Super Bowl. Brian Kelly, winningest damn near coach of all time. Didn't win no championships. But after a nice long stay at Notre Dame bed and breakfast, got $100 million out the door. Charlie Weiss, so bad he couldn't even finish the contract and was getting paid for 8+ years after the fact. Everybody wins. Matt LaFleur, a Falcons GA, under Kyle Shanahan is paper boy. Comes to Notre Dame for just one season and coaches the young Lefty. Then the man go coach Aaron Rodgers for a whole bunch of years. Come on. So for players and coaches alike, Notre Dame is the stepping stone, is the incubator. And is one of the few places where you don't have to have your most success to get to more success after Notre Dame. You just got to be there and be average and get blessed with a better opportunity.
man.
Deshaun Watson went 4-8 and got chosen in the second top of the second round. Where do you do that at? Matt Barkley went to USC, had a trash season the season he came back and wasn't even the first rounder. Deshaun Kaiser had a 4-8 season, got drafted high. You fail upwards at Notre Dame. That's the whole point. So I don't blame Logan Diggs. He got his degree, got a couple more years, and he can chase whatever he wants to.
Look, man. In my opinion, in your opinion, Left, and in the opinions of the thousands of people that subscribe to us and watch us on a daily and weekly basis, Notre Dame is the best of both worlds when it comes to education and college football.
It is.
But there's some other bad ones out there.
Yes.
There's some other baddies out there. I promise you. There's some other baddies out there in college football. And that's it, man.
There's some baddies out there for sure.
And sometimes you can't figure out. She want to talk to that dude? Like, I was just on the phone with her last night. That's the dude she wants to talk to?
It wasn't tight enough.
Quite possibly some little quirk about that other school.
Marcus Freeman went to the White House because of Notre Dame. How you do that? You ain't win no championship yet.
He actually went to the White House because of his mother.
Wait a minute. Do you think that he would have went there if he wasn't at the Notre Dame?
I'm saying Notre Dame probably hooked it up.
That's what I'm saying. Marcus Freeman, he didn't win the championship yet. He there before LSU. Marcus Freeman ain't even at the White House for a football occasion. And Notre Dame made it happen. So come on, man. What are we talking about? Notre Dame is the
we understand that. We understand that. Notre Dame is quite possibly royalty in a lot of ways in college academics, athletics, but we're not the only ones, man. We're not. We're not. We're not the only
No,
ones.
it's debatable. It's debatable.
Okay. You keep thinking it's debatable.
It's debatable. I gotta see some accolades from other programs flexing power like that. What head football coach in the White House that don't win a championship?
What are you talking about?
All right. That's
okay. Look, okay. You know what my counter is to that?
Okay.
I don't give a darn about him going to the state dinner. I would rather him go after winning the championship.
Yes, of course.
Okay, then. So that don't mean that don't.
You're getting nervous because it ain't football related.
Bruh, that doesn't satisfy me as a Notre Dame fan at all. That's nice. That's nice. He took his mother to the White House.
No, but as a
he took his mother to the White House. Take your team to the White House. How about that?
I agree. That's
Take
why I was
team to the White House.
Was telling me yesterday. I said the season ain't even start yet. Why are he taking pictures at the White House? Oh, he just got a call. Like what? You're absolutely right. I believe that he should be there on a championship. I was just confused. I was just confused. We ain't even start yet. We in season 2. Coming out of spring, he at the White House. I'm like, we ain't win no championship in spring. But he out there because Father Jenkins said, hey, did you know our head coach mother is South Korean? You should bring her up to the White House. Just on some plug. On some plug. I know he was there with his mom. But that's what I'm saying. If he was the head coach of Cincinnati, he wouldn't be there with his mom. That's why I'm saying it's a stepping stone to greatness, of recognition. This man Marcus Freeman out here moving like the actual president, and he ain't win yet. So just imagine him winning a championship. That's where the statues come in. That's the benefit of going to Notre Dame. It's not about what you're getting while you're there. It's about what you get when you get the process done. You think Alabama is dope because of what they're doing as success after they win? Just imagine the success after Notre Dame wins. We in politics without even winning. Think about that. We're in politics without even winning a championship. We might be able to change laws if we win the championship.
I don't need laws changed. I don't need laws changed. Just get me to the White House with the team. That's it. It's simple. You doing all this pageantry and all of that. That's wonderful.
I'm just saying. I don't see Brett Bielema up in the White House for no odd reasons.
That's fine. Fine.
Marcus Freeman got to have an entertainment agent.
But guess what? Brett Bielema in Illinois, all they want to do is win the Big Ten. See, Illinois, you know what Illinois is known for? Being top 5 in the business school and being top 3 in engineering.
Right.
Okay. That's Illinois. That Illinois degree is real.
That it is.
It's real. That's what Illinois is known for. And hoops. That's it. Nobody talk about Illinois football. What are you talking about?
They're making a comeback. They could have made a splash with Tyler Buckner.
Illinois football holds on to Simeon Rice like Chicago holds on to the 85 Bears. Come on, man. Nobody thinking about Illinois football.
They would if Tyler Buckner went down there.
Man, look, Brett Bielema feels good if he gets invited to see the governor. That's it. That's it. We're good. Brett Bielema was down in Springfield today. In other news, Illinois head coach Brett Bielema saw Governor Pritzker today down in Springfield, and he got a chance to speak to the assembly on the importance of education in sports with student athletes. Next up, our weather. We'll be back. If that pops on,
Follow up with that for sure.
If that pops on, cats in Illinois at hype. Like, yeah, they got beat them and went to Springfield. Come on, man. Come on, man. We know Notre Dame in a lot of ways, in the connection to the government and the armed forces that Notre Dame has. We know how special Notre Dame is. We know. But man, you can't depend on that to get everybody. You can't.
Okay.
Man, that went left, but it ended up being like a great conversation. It really
That's right.
did. It really did. Because I'm like, man, look, man, no one. I tell people all the time, there's no one that's a bigger Notre Dame fan than me. I stand on islands, hills alone against fan bases. Like, what's up? Sometimes I'm like, hey, sometimes we can trip just a little bit as a fan base. We can trip. The fact that you brought up Peyton Bowen, like that was going to be a counterpoint. Are you kidding me? This dude was literally with the recruits the night before talking about, yeah, I can't wait to see y'all. Can't wait to see y'all in 2 weeks. Can't wait to see y'all in 2 weeks, dog. Hey, Drake, we're going to do this. We're going to do that. Da, 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 da. Yeah. I'm doing my signing at noon.
Man,
I'm sending my
fine, man.
I'm sending my paperwork at noon. This is the night before.
The dotted line, man.
This is the night before on a Zoom call with all of the commits. This dude is in the saying stuff that he didn't even have to say. Saying stuff, man, I can't wait for this. I can't wait for that. I can't wait to be part of this class. Da 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 da.
Dotted line, man. Sign a dotted line.
And then this dude pop up, putting on a duck hat the next day. Come on, man. And then you expect us to take you back? Man, the rest of the recruits is like, man, you can bounce.
That's what it come down to.
You stay over there. That's what you can do.
He'll be a great player. I think he'll get drafted.
Oh, he's a darn good football player. It doesn't change one thing about his athletic ability at all. At all. And I'm sure he'll become a better person because that doesn't define who he's going to be as a man.
Yes, it does.
Well, you know, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Defining your moments and your biggest moments.
That's true. So that's a good point, Lef. That's a good point.
It's a big moment, and you're defined by that. That's why we still remember it.
That's a good point. That's a good point. But to do all of that.
In 2023, we can't give slack on things that we stand on. We know that.
Fact.
We can't give the soft culture that's happening. We can't let into that and give in to that. What they say, if you mess up, you mess up.
Man.
You can't dictate a person's consequence to you when you mess up.
Yeah.
That's the problem we deal with today. We want to tell people how to respond when we mess up. We can't do that. If you mess up, you gotta take it. You gotta take it on the chin.
Yo, and then just say it's nothing wrong with just saying, yo, I messed up.
I messed up. You got me, bro. It can be over. It's just about accountability.
That's it, man. That's it.
If he was just like, man, listen, I wanted to, but I messed up. I tried to get back, and them boys didn't want me. So I'm scrambling. I think it would have made the total difference. Now, obviously, he can't. It's hard for somebody to do that, but we, as the response people, the first responders, we can't let into that.
We the first responders.
We the first responders. We got to respond how we off the top of the head. That's how you supposed to take it.
Hey man, look.
There's no hindsight. It's hindsight on.
I had plenty. I promise you. It took a lot for me to get to the point that I got to with him. But I'm like, yo, because of course you're hearing the news the day before, days leading up to it, right?
That's
I
right.
knew that they had a joint Zoom call the night before signing day. So I'm hitting multiple guys like, yo, is Peyton on the call? Yeah. He said this. He's laughing, he's cracking jokes. He's doing this. Like this dude is playing the whole part. And then it's wait a minute. And Ghost Notre Dame. Didn't even call Notre Dame to say, "Oh man, I'm having second thoughts."
That's how the young generation deal with it. That's how the
Didn't
young
respond to
generation deal
texts.
with
Didn't pick
breaking
up
up.
phone calls.
They think that if
Walks
they never
out,
responded, to go away.
picks up a duck hat, and then here we go. Come on, man. Come on, man. You're right, Left. I'll still give him benefit of the doubt and say he can become a better person and handle things a little bit better. But man, he definitely got off to a tough start.
Man, listen. I think Justin Scott learned a lot from that, and
Yo,
and decide know how to respond better than what he did.
once again, when a young man pays enough attention to your program to recognize, yo, I'm not about to allow this to get messy. And I'm not about to lie.
But to be honest, this whole process is about lying.
What do you mean?
The whole process is
Oh,
about
you mean you on both sides?
on both
Coaches,
sides. It's about
schools, it's about lying. That's
it,
yo,
a lot of integrity in it. It's a lot of lying going on.
that's
Can you
real.
lie the best?
That's real.
Can you lie to your advantage?
That's real.
And I think that's fair. Because if you can lie to your advantage, listen, the amount of strenuous stress Justin Scott can give us by just lying, it's enough to make us feel like, okay, is he serious or not? But it delineates the difference. Peyton Bowen wasn't serious. And all that lying caught up to him. And when he wanted to come back, he couldn't. So Justin Scott's trying to have an honest process.
So what you're saying is he didn't just start lying at the end. He had been lying.
I've been lying.
He had been lying.
Because it's really not a tough decision to decide, because once you decided where you want to go, it comes down to how am I going to make the best out of the situation. If you flip-flopping and back and forth, that's because you never was solid on where you wanted to go. And what Jesus say, GC? I don't like a fence rider.
No, sir. No, sir. I prefer you to be hot or cold. If you're lukewarm, I spit you out of my mouth. That's what he said. That's what he's. Boy, you preaching up in here, Left. Boy, you throw something on the pulpit right quick. What, Left? This cat up in here referencing scripture this morning. That cat Left. What?
Hey,
I'm talking about Oregon right quick, boy. Get on this Left Oregon. What?
Don't be no fence rider with Marcus Freeman, man. Let it be known what it is, man. If you don't know yet, just tell us you don't know. That fence rider gonna get you dealt with like a terrorist. We don't deal with those.
Hey man, y'all give him a break, man. He was on, man. It was God that said it, but let you got to give Left a little leeway, man. Give him a little leeway.
Well, they say the Father and the Son, the same thing, ain't it?
Straighten it up, Left. Straighten it up, Left.
Yeah, the
Straighten it up. Let them know. Let them know.
All I'm saying is you have a chance to do different, Justin Scott.
That got Left said the Father and the Son, the same thing, right? Oh, I love it. I love it.
That's what they tell me, man. That's what they tell me.
Oh my God, dude. But to your point is, yo, don't be in between.
I'm in between.
Oh man. Yo, bro. I'm sorry, bro. We keep building and we're only successful because of LL Nation. Dude. I can't wait to get out to the left coast next month and
That's
do
right.
some more live shows in the studio, bro. Oh man. Lucky Lefty podcast, man. Thank you for joining us today. Won't he do it?
Won't he do it? Won't he do it?
Oh man. You know what time it is.
Petticoat, petti, petti, petticoat, petti, petti, petticoat junction.
It's time to get petty
Oh, we did a good job executing.
Are you upset with something?
and fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you.
You don't?
No.
What is today's pettiest story? Petty Junction.
Petty Junction, Petty Story of the Day brought to you by Onora Whiskey, AnoraWhiskey.com. That premium American whiskey, AnoraWhiskey.com. Look, man. Mace, dude, you know how I love to play videos, but I can never play the video of Mace and Cameron, dude. It's just too much. It's too, it's too raunchy. It's too much, bro.
Raunchy. It's too raw. It's too rap star. It's too rap.
If you have not seen their segment on Mikey Williams, bro,
Oh man, it's hilarious. Because you can't take them serious talking about it. That's why.
bro, I felt so bad for Mikey Williams after watching that, bro. That I have to put them on the petty train, man. He said, well, you know that kind. He said, when you shut down that Instagram, you know what time that is.
Yeah, you know they're guilty. You know they're guilty. He shut down the Instagram. He said, don't compare me to John Morant. He said, I'm the real deal over here.
Said my man shot and then kept the piece on him
Kevin on him.
when he was found. Like, yo, what's up?
Yeah.
I'm real.
Yeah. That's what happened.
Bro.
But that's NIL deals going wrong, bro. You give a 17, 18-year-old $1 million. He bought $1 million crib in a nice neighborhood. That's
Bruh.
17 years old. What do you expect? Can't
Then
tell
this fool. Then these fools said they kept Mikey Williams, man. You know, he said when they fade, you know what's next, right? They trying to convince dude not to testify. You know they trying to buy him, right? I'm like, these dudes are stupid, man.
Hey, shout out the greatest sports journalism show out there.
It is what it is, bro.
I don't think they report on anything from a source standpoint.
The young lady that hosts usually brings up the facts before they start talking about it. But
they are straight opinionated sports show. This ain't no Stephen. You know how JJ Redick tried to get Stephen A. and the Mad Dog right every day on the show. Oh, y'all ain't played no basketball at a high level. Y'all don't know what y'all talking about. Man, it is what it is. They like, it is what it is.
yo, speaking of ESPN, Mel Kiper, for what you did to Will Levis and his hopes,
It's super petty.
you mad petty, brother.
But only half petty because Will thought you was really telling the truth. Will thought that something on the film you saw was different that was on the film. And I love football for the fact that you can't fake that. If the man throw 11 interceptions and 16 touchdowns, that's what the man throw. You can't overhype that at all. So, I'm just I'm glad it worked out how it was supposed to. You fell where you're supposed to fall, and it's not in the first round. NFL still got some integrity with me.
Oh man. And last but not least on the petty train, bro. That cat Booger McFarland. No, it wasn't Booger McFarland. It was I'm sorry, Mel Kiper once again going back on the petty train. This cat Mel Kiper said Michael Mayer was not highly touted coming out of high school.
What?
And that's when I shook my head and said, okay, it might be time to allow him to retire, bro. Might
You
be
trying,
time for him to retire.
trying to make news too bad.
This dude said Will Levis was his number one ranked quarterback, bro.
See, that makes people think that you're racist. Because that's the only
Explain it to me, because he said
only summation you can come up with it is that you just racist.
he said Mitch Trubisky was his number one ranked quarterback years ago.
It has to be race. It has to be.
And we come to 2023, and Will Levis is your number one ranked quarterback.
It's race. It has to be.
How?
You're not even thinking football anymore. You're far removed from a football conversation when you say Will Levis is your number one. Come on.
CJ Stroud and Bryce have been 1 and 2 since 8th grade, bro.
In every metric.
Since 8th grade in that class, they've been number 1 and 2.
In every metric. Come on.
And my man said Will Levis was his number one ranked quarterback. You petty too, Left, for sending me that darn TikTok of that White Sox fan. You petty for that.
Yo, Kuiper, man, you getting old, long in the tooth. That's what they say. You're getting long in the tooth now.
So we'll see you guys Monday. I'll be on tomorrow at 4 Eastern with Brian Driscoll for Bryce Young and his commitment.
We got to answer them super chats now.
Oh, yeah. We did have super chats. Did we have more than 2? Because I only starred 2 of them.
I think we got 2.
All right, here we go. MB, thoughts on locker room and transfers. Shout out to LL, best NB memory. Malik Shred and UT. Watched from South Korea. Wow, and Wi-Fi issues had me sitting in the alley outside closed cafe at 5 a.m. to watch game.
Damn.
That's pretty spectacular.
Shout out Marcus Freeman. You must have saw his grandparents out there in South Korea. That's hard. Shout out to you. The locker room with transfers. This is the people that are transferring is the class that Marcus Freeman didn't recruit. I mean, these are all guys Marcus Freeman didn't handpick. And that's what happens when you have a new coach. The old guys be like, shit, this ain't for me, and get out of there. And the guys he recruit become the players that he starts. And so the guys that are on the fringe don't feel comfortable, and it makes sense. Logan Diggs, Tyler Buckner, guys that are long in the tooth, found better spots. I think a lot of this happens because their value increased coming from Notre Dame. Shout out to Marcus Freeman. Your value becomes increased when you come to Notre Dame. So whether you leave or whether you're looking for a better spot after that, you're going to get the chance when you're playing for Notre Dame. It happens for guys coming from lesser programs, a.k.a. Sam Hartman, Jack Cohn, Ben Skoranek, Brandon Joseph, and the success that they get after Notre Dame, it speaks to itself. Tommy Rees didn't come and win nothing. It went to debatably one of the best dynasties around in the last decade and runs the whole offense to the point where he took one of our guys and made him the starter down there. So Notre Dame has influence in college football. Without Notre Dame, there would be no college football. And it just proves itself every day. It proves itself every day. The college football needle is moved by Notre Dame clearly because Alabama needed us for a quarterback and an offensive coordinator. Proved it. So now it's just leading the trail of Marcus Freeman to run it up and to win a championship in the next 2-3 years and put us back on top.
Truman Theodore Dumel, thank you for the super chat. If Diggs lands at LSU or Bama, what type of role would he have, especially in the running backs room? Yes, see the Tyrann Matthew quote on transfer.
If on Brian Kelly, you don't know. Is the grass greener on the other side? That's something to find out. But you won't know until you get there. And hopefully, what Logan did is going back home. He can get a lot of love and get an opportunity to be the number one running back in the SEC. I don't know why you want that many hits, but if that's what you think you can take to get to the lead, then God bless you.
Man, shout out to the chat, everybody that joined us. You make the show popping each and every day. Can't do it without you. Have a great weekend. Most of all, make sure that you spend it different.